Ever tried to run a high-performance sports car on tricycle wheels? Or maybe bake a gourmet cake in a microwave? It just doesn't work, right? You need the right tools for the job. The same goes for powerful software like QuickBooks Desktop. You wouldn't expect it to run smoothly on a potato powered by hopes and dreams, would you? Today, we're going to dive deep into exactly what those requirements are for QuickBooks Desktop. We'll break down the essential components of your computer system, from the operating system it runs on, to the brain of your computer, its memory, and how much space you need to breathe. Let's start with the foundation, the operating system. Operating system, the bedrock of your system. Your operating system is the very foundation upon which QuickBooks Desktop is built. It's like the road on which our sports car drives. If the road is bumpy and full of potholes, no matter how good the car, the ride will be rough. For QuickBooks Desktop, you're primarily looking at Microsoft Windows. As of the latest versions, QuickBooks Desktop typically requires a 64-bit version of Windows 10 or Windows 11. It's crucial to understand that 32-bit operating systems are generally not supported anymore, and attempting to run QuickBooks Desktop on one will likely lead to installation failures or significant performance issues. If you're running an older version of Windows, such as Windows 8.1 or even Windows 7, you'll find that current versions of QuickBooks Desktop are no longer compatible. Microsoft has also ended support for these older operating systems, meaning they don't receive security updates, which makes them a security risk for your sensitive financial data. So, if you're still on one of these, an operating system upgrade is almost certainly in your future if you want to use the latest QuickBooks Desktop. Processor, the brains of the operation. Next up, the processor, the CPU. This is the brain of your computer, responsible for executing all the calculations and commands that QuickBooks Desktop demands. A faster, more efficient processor means QuickBooks can crunch numbers, generate reports, and process transactions much more quickly. The minimum recommendation for a QuickBooks Desktop processor is typically a 2.4 GHz processor. However, for optimal performance, especially if you're dealing with large company files, running multiple applications concurrently, or working in a multi-user environment, a 3.0 GHz processor or higher is highly recommended. For multi-user setups, a more powerful processor on the server is even more critical, as it needs to handle requests from multiple workstations simultaneously. RAM, the short-term memory. Random access memory, or RAM, is your computer's short-term memory. It's where QuickBooks stores data it's actively using, allowing for quick access and manipulation. The more RAM you have, the more data QuickBooks can hold readily available, leading to smoother performance, especially when working with large company files or performing complex tasks like running detailed reports. For a single-user workstation, the absolute minimum RAM requirement is generally 8 GB. However, 16 GB of RAM is highly recommended for a significantly better experience. This is especially true if you tend to have multiple applications open alongside QuickBooks, such as web browsers, email clients, or Microsoft Office programs. For multi-user environments, the RAM requirements on the server increase significantly based on the number of users. 1 to 5 users, 8 GB RAM. 10 users, 12 GB RAM. 15 users, 16 GB RAM. 20 plus users, 20 GB RAM or more. Insufficient RAM is one of the most common causes of slow QuickBooks performance, so investing in adequate RAM is a smart move that will pay off daily. Disk space, room to breathe. Just like you need space to walk around in your office, QuickBooks Desktop needs ample disk space to install its program files, store your company data files, and manage temporary files. The minimum disk space requirement for the QuickBooks Desktop installation itself is typically around 2.5 GB. However, this is just for the program. You'll need additional space for your company data files, which can grow significantly over time depending on the volume of your transactions. Consider that backups, updates, and other associated files also require space. Furthermore, for optimal performance, especially with large company files, a solid-state drive, SSD, is highly recommended. Traditional hard disk drives, HDDs, are slower, and while they might meet the minimum requirement, An SSD will drastically improve QuickBooks' responsiveness, loading times, and overall speed. It's a noticeable difference, particularly when opening large files or running complex reports. Display. Seeing clearly, you got the horsepower, the memory, and the storage. But if your display isn't up to par, your QuickBooks experience can still feel cramped and inefficient. QuickBooks Desktop is optimized for a screen resolution of 1280 by 1024 or higher. This ensures that all the menus, windows, and data fields are displayed correctly and legibly without requiring constant scrolling or resizing. It also supports multiple monitors, typically up to 2 extended monitors in addition to your primary one, which can be a huge productivity booster for comparing reports or having multiple QuickBooks windows open simultaneously. Ensuring your display is set to the default DPI, dots per inch, settings for your operating system is also recommended for proper scaling and text clarity. Internet access, staying connected. While QuickBooks Desktop is installed locally on your computer, many of its essential features and services require an active internet connection. This includes product registration and activation, software updates, payroll services, online banking and connected services, multi-user access for some cloud-hosted solutions. While a 56 kilobits per second connection might be listed as a minimum for some basic online features, a broadband connection, DSL, or cable modem with at least 1 megabit per second speed is strongly recommended for a smooth and efficient experience. For cloud-hosted environments, even faster speeds are advisable. Other software compatibility, playing nicely. QuickBooks Desktop often integrates with other popular business software, and it's important to ensure these programs are compatible with your QuickBooks version. Microsoft Office, Adobe Acrobat Reader, antivirus and firewall software, internet browser, multi-user considerations, network prowess. For businesses that need multiple users to access QuickBooks Desktop simultaneously, network infrastructure becomes a critical component of the system requirements. Network speed, server setup, wired versus wireless. Understanding and adhering to the system requirements for QuickBooks Desktop isn't just about getting the software to run. It's about optimizing your entire accounting workflow for speed, efficiency, and reliability. By ensuring your computer system has the right operating system, a capable processor, sufficient RAM, ample and fast disk space, and a well-configured network, you'll empower QuickBooks Desktop to perform at its best. This translates directly into less frustration, more productivity, and ultimately better financial management for your business. Don't let inadequate hardware be the bottleneck for your accounting success. Invest in the right foundation, and QuickBooks Desktop will truly become the powerful financial engine your business deserves. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.